Hey everybody, this is Old Buck Dave again saying hi to all of you, and along with me is, of course,
Old Buck Dale.
Old Buck Dale. Welcome back, man. Welcome back. Good to see you. How's the coffee? How's the coffee taste?
Drinking Bailey's.
Oh,
You probably thought I was putting cream in my
I
coffee. No, it's
wasn't wondering what was
Bailey's.
going on. It's Bailey's. Okay.
Yeah,
Well, okay. I'm not going to tell
yeah.
you what I'm drinking, but it's not coffee either.
Uh,
Yeah. Hey, last episode, you ended up talking about food and
and I,
walnuts and mixed nuts and all kind of
oh
stuff
yeah,
like
yeah. I
that.
have another thing I wanted to tell you about. I forgot to tell you
I,
last time I was
I, I
talking.
kind of I was kind of afraid you would. So, oh, let's get it out of the way
You
here.
want to hear it from you?
What else is troubling you?
Who
What
else?
else is
Yeah, who else
troubling
can
you?
I lay this stuff on except you? I mean, I sometimes forget there's people that are listening. I mean, when I'm talking to you, I'm just talking to you. Hey, do you know where your tuna comes from?
From a tuna fish, huh?
And where
No,
was that tuna fish
it was in the
before he
water.
ended up in that
It was in
can?
the
What
water
what
somewhere.
part of the sea?
It was in the cold seas. I don't know. Comes
Well, do you
from
think
where?
it came from the Atlantic Ocean?
I
Probably,
Either there or the Pacific. If it was
or
sushi,
the
it probably came came
or the
from the Pacific.
Indian, or the. Oh,
I don't know.
the other day. Okay, this is what
Yeah,
prompted
let's
this
let's get to this thing
subject.
here. Yeah, you're
So the other day,
everybody's on the edge of their seats here.
yeah, uh, there's a lot of different titles in your local supermarket. I mean, everybody's familiar with some of the generic advertised names, Charlie
Hmm.
Tuna or whatever, that kind of thing. But I think there's a lot more than that in some of the specialty shops and stuff like that. They don't carry those brands. So I ran across some tuna, and my wife really liked it. She said, "Boy, where did you get that?" And it turns out somebody had given me 4 cans. They had bought a lot of it, you know, and they gave me 4 cans. And this was solid light uh, skipjack wild tuna. And it says no salt added, except where the calorie section's at, it says 3% sodium. So I
Hmm.
just I just assumed that the fish itself had gotten salt in it from swimming in the sea.
That could be.
So they didn't add any to the can,
Okay.
but the salt might
So
have
they
got
say.
in from
Uh
the
huh.
sea salt.
Well,
So
it's
I'm
chicken
thinking,
of the sea. Remember, it's the chicken of the sea.
well, that's one brand too. But so I looked at this thing, and this has been caught in the Maldives.
Ah, okay.
Like I said, that's in the Indian Ocean,
All right.
right?
That's where you used to live.
Well,
Or
not far from there. I
not far
mean,
from
I
there.
could have
Yeah.
went there if I wanted to, but I didn't go over
You
there.
could have gone there. You
Uh,
could have.
so I'm looking at this, and they're like uh, saying this is the captain. This is all wild caught, sustainable,
That's a
and sometimes
lie.
I
That's a
think that's
lie.
a lie too. I think they're still scooping them and getting everything up. Uh, so I was thinking, I wonder if people pay attention to where this stuff is caught, and how would you even know? Because this label could be on any can. So
Could
I'm
be.
always suspicious
You
because it
are.
can't.
That's
I'm always just. I really am. I think about this. I'm
where
always
do these nuts
suspicious where
come
this comes
from?
from.
Yeah.
And so this little label can just be stuck on any can, and whether or not it's sustainable, I don't know. But they really went to great lengths to say that this was wild caught, and that it was the captain is saying, there's a little picture of a captain. Let's see, what is this picture? What is his name? I don't see it on here. I thought I saw it. But all in all, I wonder where the tuna is, and are we going to run out of those things? That could be another problem one day.
Well, that could be a problem. I think I think the tuna are getting smaller and smaller. That means we're harvesting them before they have a chance to grow up. So yeah, this is what's keeping you up at night, also.
No, but
This is valid. This is a valid one. This is more worrisome than who's mixing the cashews with the walnuts. I got to tell you that. I'm with you on that.
well, I mean, you got to wonder where it, like I said, where this stuff comes from. But I mean,
Yeah.
I took the label off and everything, and I looked at it and I said, I wonder if this really is from the Maldives. It, do they have big shipping fleets over there? Then I think they cook the stuff in the can. I think the tuna's put in raw with the
Mm-hmm.
water, and then they cook it in the can. So is the Maldives on an island? Are they big enough to even do that, or is this stuff shipped to some other place where there's big factories? I mean, so I'm always a bit suspicious. But anyhow, the wife
This
liked it.
sounds this sounds like a research project for you. I'm expecting a full report on
I
our
almost
next
don't want to
podcast.
know. I almost don't want to know.
Yeah, I got a fish story. You want to
Okay.
hear my fish story?
Yeah, I'm
You
here.
just
Your fish.
reminded me of it. It just popped into my head here. So so my wife picked up some dips the other day for a little party we were having with a neighbor. And the one dip was called Smilin' Bob's Smoked Fish Dip. All right. And the other one was a lobster dip. And I won't tell you the brand on this one
Okay.
because I don't want to have any slander issues going on here. Now you think, which would be the good one, the lobster dip or the fish dip? You got to go with the lobster dip, right?
I would think.
You would
I mean, if
think.
it's you don't know what kind of fish it is, do you? Right? It didn't say
Well,
codfish or
I
something.
looked at the ingredients. All right. So on Smilin' Bob, which was frankly much better than the lobster dip, the first ingredient was smoked fish. All right. Smoked fish, number one ingredient. Guess where lobster showed up on its ingredient list? Number 7 was like lobster paste. Before that was, sugar, fat, grease, chemicals a mile long. So
So you're also.
that's my outrage. That's my
I was going to
outrage.
say you're also saying read the labels on some of this stuff and wonder where
Read
it
the
came from.
labels. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my.
So that was pretty
Well.
much useless information that we spent 5 minutes
Yeah, but
on.
I think we bring it up because you thought about it. I think about stuff like that. I think, just I wonder where that came from, or what really is that, especially when the ingredient on the like the main ingredient, like
Mm-hmm.
apple cider, it says
Yeah.
mixed
Corn syrup.
juices,
Yeah, corn syrup. Yeah.
3%
Yeah, like
apples.
the seventh line down. An apple was spotted nearby, right? Well, hey,
Uh,
let's get to something. Let's get to the
so
cultural
the
section. Or yeah, we've been
all
silly
right,
long
all
enough
right.
here. So I know. Let's go to the book section. I know you've got another book that you're hot on, and I have one as well. So let's
Well, old buck
pass along some
listeners.
book wisdom here.
All right, let's put it this way: old buck listeners know that we enjoyed talking about books over time. We always did that, and we also refer them to one another every now and then. You give me one, and we've run across some fantastically good stories that we both enjoyed, and we've given a shout out to them. Um, the book thief. You remember the book thief?
Oh man,
Yeah,
that was
that
your
was a
first home run you gave me.
oh, that was a thriller, and you discovered that one
Oh,
by
actually, that's
chance
right. You gave me another book by that
by the
author.
author, and you. So anyhow,
I
that's
like. Yeah.
one example.
Okay, that's one example.
So I've been reading pretty much anything I could grab from the book pile and just trying to see what it is. I mean, there's different detectives and uh, that kind of thing, just to see how books are written. And we both talk to authors, right?
We do.
Yeah,
We
we
do.
talk to authors, and you ask them why they write the way they do. Why do they uh, throw
Hmm.
that? Don't go in that door. He said, no, you have to throw that in there because
Sometimes
that's
they
what
even
people
answer.
like.
Yeah.
They like
Yeah.
that part of it, so they add that portion. So I'm always trying to analyze the heroes, and sometimes I think, this guy's just a glorified Jack Reacher or something.
Hmm.
Somebody we might know.
Yep.
So I was craving some science fiction. I was craving some good science fiction, and that's pretty much a detective story or a war story in space. right?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's something like that. It's just in a
Yeah.
different environment. So I see what appears to be science fiction, and I pick up a book uh, by I by who I think is called Louis McMaster Bouchard.
Okay.
So I think, oh, let's see what Louis has to say. So I start when I take the book home, I'm looking at it again. I said, that's not Louis, that's Lois.
Lois.
This is Lois McMaster. So I looked her up, and she's a prolific writer of science fiction. Never read anything by her before, and even the cover of this book looked like it wasn't even attractive in my view. It just appeared to be science fiction. And the name of the book is called The Warrior's Apprentice, and it's from a series of, I think, 5. This is number 3.
Okay.
So it takes a chance. And this book to me read like a gentleman from Moscow. I mean, just flowed.
Wow.
And the way she wrote just was fantastic. And the hero was not like any other hero that I've read. So the way she wrote it, the characters and the storyline was just so different, taking place, in space. Very, very technical, I thought. She did an excellent job of describing this stuff. I said to myself, my book buddy,
That would be me.
that would be you, may find this interesting from the sheer point of view of how it was written, the way she wrote it. And I said, I'm going to save this for you.
For old Buck Dave.
Yeah, and I forgot to bring it with me this time. But next time I said, I'll set this someplace. I'm going to bring this to you. I'll get it to you. And let you kind of look through this thing and see if you enjoyed it. So it's more of a trial balloon with you to,
Okay.
I think you'll like this. Let me get this to you and see what it's. But
This is The Warrior's Apprentice by Lois McMaster Carr.
Bouchard, Boujold.
Bouchard. Bouchard. Spell that again. B-O.
Boujold.
Boujold. Boujold.
Boujold. Oh, Boujold.
I don't know,
Boujold.
but definitely not McMaster Carr.
No.
That's different.
And it's Lois McMaster.
It is Lois.
So anyhow,
All right.
the
All
bottom line is that I finally picked the book up. It was beautiful to read. I read it sparingly, which I try to do to a book that's good, so that I don't finish it too soon. And the ideas and the characters, and I'll give you a clue. The lead character really doesn't want to hurt anybody. And I thought that was different. He wasn't like your.
He's not out. He's not.
Yeah, he's not out to injure anybody. He really doesn't want to hurt anybody.
Who's that guy that you like?
Few people do get hurt in the adventures, but very, very cleverly written. And I would recommend it to somebody who wants to get a little sci-fi into their genre. So that's my book report.
Well, thank you.
It's coming to you, buddy. That's from you.
That'll be in the liner notes, and that'll be in Dave's library here shortly. So you have finished the book then?
I did. I was just reading it, looking at it there myself.
Okay. Well, I got a book to talk about. Thank you, by the way. I'm looking forward to that. I've been trying to read a sci-fi at the same time also. Snow Crash by Neil Stevenson. His I guess, the claim to fame, and that he first talked about the metaverse. He's the first person that ever said the word metaverse.
Oh,
This is kind of a cyberpunk. I'm having trouble falling in love with it. Actually, I stopped reading it about 20% of the way through, because I got a book in the mail from old Buck Norman, who happens old Buck Norman from Pittsburgh. And he said, Dave, I think you'll like this author. The name of the book is Transatlantic by Colum McCann. And he said, if you like this, then you should read his book, Let the Great World Spin. And I think several episodes back, I think I mentioned Let the Great World Spin. I said, well, Norman, I've already read Let the Great World Spin, and it was probably the best book I read last year. It was worst number 2. It was probably the best book I read last year. and this is Transatlantic by the same author. This guy is just Colin McCann. He's just terrific. He wrote this book in 2013. All right, now it's somewhere between 3 and 6 stories that kind of. I'm only halfway through, so it's not a legal book review, but there are 3 major stories here. He talks about Frederick Douglass, who went to, he was the slave who escaped and came to the North, was highly educated, and this was about his trip in 1845, 1846, where he went to Ireland and talked about emancipation and trying to raise money. He had a book, so there are book sales, I believe, and basically lecturing, raising money for the cause, okay, for freedom, and that's true, okay. So, but he pieces together how Douglass might have felt and how he might have interacted with different people. So it's just terrific writing. It's hard for me to say too much good stuff about this. At the next thing the first thing he wrote about was the first nonstop transatlantic flight in 1919. And these were 2 Brits, Alcock and Brown, and they started in Newfoundland and basically crashed their plane in Ireland. So they were the first nonstop transatlantic. This was before Lindbergh did the solo transatlantic, but this was the first nonstop transatlantic. And again, just a beautiful story about the stuff that they endured. This was an open cockpit, and they almost burrowed into the water at one point. And the third story he writes about is about Senator George Mitchell, who basically led the peace accords that dealing with the troubles in Ireland, Northern Ireland, from like the 60s to the 90s, and it's the Good Friday Peace Accord that was signed in 1998, when people thought this would be impossible to do. And again, it's a beautiful portrait of this guy, and things that happened or might have happened to him. And at the same time, there are women that are introduced here. Now the women are all fictional, but there's a story for a woman that Douglass meets, for example, and it's her desire to go to America, and she goes to America, and then has a life in America, which I'm kind of right in the middle of now. But as I say, I'm only halfway through the book. The writing is just beautiful. I don't know how else to say it, and you just feel immersed in the book. So it's probably going to be one of the best books I ever read. So that's Transatlantic by Colin McCann. It'll be in the liner notes.
Now, do you have that in the hardcover? Or did you read that in a Kindle or something?
No, this is actually a paperback, so I can give you this one.
I would like to read that because I like stuff like that.
I think you will absolutely. It's basically historical fiction. It's just written so well. I get to read.
Well, I would admit to our listeners, this has always been a lot of fun for us. I mean, we would talk about these things whenever we meet and exchange these books. And oftentimes, or most often, I mean, we don't do it all the time. Usually it's something we find that the other person would really like. We don't do it haphazardly. I've read a lot of other books since then. So, find yourself a book, buddy.
Excellent book. Excellent book. It's going to be yours next, buddy.
All right. There shall be an exchange.
So, yeah.
We will each hold on to the book and a count of 3, let go.
Yeah. Let the buck world spin, baby. Let the buck world spin. Yeah. Highly recommended. Highly recommended.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So moving on to videos. I watched a video the other day. It was called "How Can You Tell the Age of a Buck?"
Is that the one you sent me?
Yeah, this is us, right? We're bucks.
I was going to say you can tell the age by the limp, by the style of dress.
Yeah, this guy's making it too hard. Now he said, he was like, okay, there's 12 points here. Now he only gave like 3 or 4 here, so I don't know if he's He's not a good counter. Maybe.
So wait a minute. Are you talking about old bucks like us, or are you talking
Well, it
about
says, okay, and I'll listen.
the
It's called
four-legged bucks?
it's an age of a bucket. He says, number one, the first thing he says, take a close-up picture of his profile. Would you want anybody to take a close-up picture of your profile? Probably not. I wouldn't want. I've seen your profile.
Is this the video? The video I saw that.
The video, yeah. Number
Look-
two, it said, look at his teeth. Imagine people prying your jaw open looking at your teeth. Number three, is his butt bigger than his chest? That means something at your age. I guess the older you get, the bigger your butt gets versus your chest.
I think you got the wrong buck.
I don't know. It said, how would he look if he wasn't horny? Something like that. It said, how would he look without horns?
You're
Did I
not
mess
looking
this
at
up?
the same video. The video I saw was about a deer hunter in Pennsylvania or something.
Oh, well, that's completely different, huh? No wonder I was so confused. I just had it on audio. I just had it on audio.
Yeah. This is the guy that wants you to, if you're going to go deer hunting,
Okay.
if you're in the woods and you're hunting deer,
Alright.
not us two old bucks.
Okay. I feel a lot better now.
I can take the teeth out and just show them to you. I mean, you just lay them on a counter and we'll look at them under a microscope.
Is his butt bigger than his chest? That means he's older. Gee,
No,
I misconstrued this whole thing. I'm sorry. I
that's
apologize.
the difference between the deer that run on four legs in the woods and the old bucks like us.
That limp.
The
Limp
butts
on-
butts are
limp on
never
two-
bigger than their chests.
I don't know. I don't know.
That's out there, Post. They can actually go look
It's
at that
out there.
themselves. But you don't believe us.
I may or may not put a link to that in the liner notes here. I'm kind of embarrassed here. I listened to it on my phone. At night. I didn't watch the video. Yeah, but listen. Moving on to movies. All right,
What about movies?
We've had the Oscar nominations. I thought we'd just talk a little bit about the Best Picture nominations. We can at least talk about the ones we've seen. Or does that sound reasonable? Does that sound like something we can do?
I would be interested to know what you saw. What did you
Okay.
see?
Well, let me just go down through the list here. I just copied a list of the nominees, and so Belfast is the first alphabetical nominee here. It talks about, it's a story about the beginning of the troubles in Belfast in 1969, and this is through the eyes of Buddy, who's a 9-year-old kid there in Belfast. Kind of interesting link to Colin McCann's book there, as a matter of fact. So I hadn't thought of till just now. It was in black and white also. I did see this one. It was in black and white. I thought it was a pretty good movie. It was it's kind of sentimental. It was kind of predictable. It really didn't. I don't think it showed the gory details of the troubles and the pain and suffering of the troubles, probably realistically enough. But it dealt with how one family and several generations were dealing with it, particularly Buddy, the 9-year-old.
So it's a nominee. It was a nominee.
It was a
and
nominee. I
have
thought it was
seen
good. It was a good book. I've seen it. It was a good book.
Okay, what's the next one
Good
you've
movie.
seen?
Well, then the next one's Coda. I haven't seen Coda, so I can't talk about Coda.
Okay.
The next one on the list is Don't Look Up. Did you see that? Don't Look Up.
I did not.
This is the one where there's a scientist a scientist assistant, grad student, discovers that a meteorite is headed towards Earth and it's going to destroy the Earth in 6 months. And they're trying to make everybody aware of this, but nobody seems to either believe them, okay, because, they want their own facts, or cares because, they want to. It's more important to get on Facebook or TikTok or something like that. And this isn't a sexy thing. So it was really over the top. Leonardo DiCaprio was in it, and see, I'm drawing a blank. This is what happens when I don't write stuff down. I try to wing.
But you did see it.
I did see it. It was really over the top, kind of a farce in many ways.
Kind of like the
had a
China
lot-
syndrome.
A lot of big time actors in it playing little roles, so that was kind of cute. But I think the real story is if you take out meteorite and insert climate change and make the time span longer, it's the same story, okay?
Or
So
Big
it's like
Shark.
global tilting, okay?
Yeah.
It's like global tilting. It's like nobody believes it, nobody cares about it, or nobody feels
Yeah.
that it's important enough to do anything about it. So I think that was the subtext of the whole thing. But it was corny. It was
And
over
it
the
is
top.
nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, it was nominated for Best Picture. Yeah, I
We're
don't think
going
it's
to.
going to get it, but it was
What else did you see?
the next. Well, the next movie, I'm going to talk about all of these, whether you like it or not. The next one is Drive My Car, which I have not seen, but I really, really want to see it because it's based on a Haruki Murakami short story, and his stuff. I just love his stuff. He's so different. So it's about a girl who drives a guy around. She chauffeurs him around. She chauffeurs this guy around.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. She's a
All right.
driver.
Yeah. So yeah, that's I'm gonna do some kind of anyway. The next one, I think we both saw this one together. Dune.
It was nominated.
It was
Huh.
nominated. Do you say that with surprise?
I said I was surprised because it's not finished.
Yeah.
It was only half a movie.
Yeah. I thought it was epic, but it was really I thought unfulfilling. Having read the book,
Yeah.
the movie's never as good as a book. They did a nice stuff on the sandworms, but they really tried to cram a lot of history in there. And as you said, it's one of I think it's going to be a two-parter or three-part movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I think I don't know, a lot of good cinematography there. I think maybe that's what got that in there. King Richard, haven't seen that. Licorice Pizza. King Richard, of course, that's
Yeah. Tennis.
tennis. Yeah.
Yeah.
Licorice Pizza, haven't seen that. Want to see that. Nightmare Alley, have no idea what that's about. The next one I have seen, Power of the Dog. This is my favorite, really, among the ones that I've seen. Takes place in Montana, 1925. It's two brothers and a woman and her son. The younger brother falls in love with the mother.
Who's the star in that one?
This is Benedict Cumberbatch,
Cumberbatch. Yeah. They said he
Cumberbatch,
plays a good part.
Jesse Plemons, Kristen Dunst, and I forget the young guy's name. Again, I didn't write this stuff down.
So you saw it.
I saw it. I thought it was just excellent. Just excellent.
Is Cumberbatch a bad guy? Does he play a bad guy in this movie?
Pretty much. Pretty much. Well, he plays a real man. Okay. He's they have this ranch out in Montana, and he's the older brother, and he's the rough and tumble guy, and he's Mr. Badass. And his brother's more refined and a nicer guy. And the woman that his brother marries has a son. He's just about college age from a previous marriage.
Mm.
Cumberbatch, who's Mr. Macho, verbally beats up on the son because he's rather effeminate. And
I promise you, I'll go see this if it wins the Oscar.
I guess I'm telling you, it's a good movie. It's a
I
good
believe
movie.
you. I believe you. If
That-
it wins, I'll go see it.
All
I'll
right.
give you, and we can comment on it.
And the last one is West Side Story. I haven't seen that. I think musicals should be banned from the Best Picture list. I don't know. I just come on.
No,
That's a
well,
musical.
no, but that was
It's a
it
picture,
was a
but-
famous musical, and a lot of people haven't seen it, just like Bambi. All right, well, we shall see. I have no predictions on that because I haven't seen all those. But if you say this is the best one, we'll see.
Well, it's the best one of the ones I've seen. I haven't seen the rest. Maybe by the time we do the next podcast, I'll have seen some more of these. But we shall see. We shall see.
You get 28 hours in a day. I've never seen anybody squeeze so much time in. How you've managed to get all the
Just
stuff
stop.
you do.
Just stop it. Just stop it. If you'd get out
And
of
work
bed,
a part-time job. Oh my
if
God.
you'd quit taking that nap from noon to 4,
Yeah.
you'd have more time too. Come on.
Yeah.
Speaking of come on, I think it's time to come on and go. What do you think?
I think it probably is. I ran out of Bailey's, so I'll say this is old Buck Bell saying good night and good morning and goodbye.
This is Old Buck Dave right behind him again, saying the same thing. You heard it first from him. You heard it second from me. Take care, folks. See you next time. Bye-bye.